review for today, Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. There are a few preliminary matters before we get started. Like everyone, the appellates in particular, to know that this is a formal hearing with court reporter as well as other recording devices that will record everything that's said and done. So you should treat this as a formal hearing as if you were in the courthouse. So that means men should not be wearing hats. You should not be reposing in your bed or your easy chair. We need you to be directly involved and focused on the hearing, and no eating and drinking while you're in your hearing. We appreciate that. We want everyone to have an opportunity for their case to be fairly heard and a decision made. So that means we need you to participate. If you're in a public space, you'll need to cancel any background noise because it interferes with what we're doing. We can't hear you clearly if there's background noise around you. If you have an attorney representing you, please pay attention to that attorney. You will be given an opportunity for a separate breakout room if you need to have a confidential conversation. But I just advise everyone who's hired a lawyer to represent them for today to please pay attention to what the instructions of that attorney. The board and the other panelists will introduce themselves, after which we will hear from the law department. The law department will give us a listing of all matters that have been resolved or continuances that have been requested, and we want to hear from them. Also, as an appellant, if your case is listed as moot or moot complied, that means things have been resolved for today. If you need further detail as to the distinction, please call the administrator's office and someone there will explain it to you. Please do not break into a hearing to ask a question because that just creates more confusion and slows things down. We have a considerable long list of cases today, over 49. We have about 49 cases today. So we want to get through them as efficiently as possible, but we want everyone to have a fair hearing. So thank you very much. Board now will introduce itself. Again, I'm Kenneth Woodson, board chair.
I'm Ralph Pincus, board member. And one other point the chairman might have pointed out is that there are 49 cases, and it's quite possible that it will be a long afternoon. So even though all the cases were called for 12:30, you may not be heard until sometime later in the afternoon.
Absolutely.
Steve Pettit, board member.
Beverly Penn, board member.
Glenn Washington, board member.
Brian McSherry, board counsel.
Mr. Wade is here somewhere. Yep. Mr. Wade, we didn't hear your introduction.
Richard Wade, board administrator.
Thank you very much. Okay. Who's representing the city today to give us a list of matters that have been resolved and or requests for continuance?
Good afternoon, board members. This is Michael Rullo, R-U-L-L-O, on behalf of the city of Philadelphia.
Good afternoon, Mr. Rullo. What do you have for us today?
1 second, pulling up my list here. Beginning with number 2 on the list, appeal ending 001-596, 4248 Spruce Street, a H-A space Q-U-A-C-H, and then it's on behalf of Pho and Cafe Saigon. That can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied, thank you.
Moving to number 4, appeal ending 001-631, 1928 West Godfrey Avenue, appellant Veronica Rawls. That can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied.
I'm going to address numbers 5 and 6 together. That's appeals ending 001-637 and 001-638. Both concerning 109 East Allegheny Avenue, and both with an appellant of a Stamatia. I'm going to spell this. First name S-T-A-M-A-T-I-A, last name P-A-P-A-N-I-K-O-L-A-O-U, on behalf of Medical Real Estate LLC. That both can be marked moot.
Moot, thank you.
Moving to number 11, appeal ending 001-688, 4339 North 6th Street, appellant Joel Brito. That can be marked moot.
Moot.
Moving to number 14, 001-703, 2601 North Broad Street, number C3, a Vodi Property or Yodi Property Incorporated. My understanding is the board has already decided and granted a continuance on that. I just wanted to confirm.
Yes, we reviewed a joint continuance for that property from the appellant and the city, so that was granted.
Okay, and then moving to number 16, appeal ending 001710726 East Sharpnack Street, appellant Elizabeth Campbell, that can be marked moot.
Moot, thank you.
Moving to number 18, appeal ending 0017113 1902 North 23rd Street, appellant Walter Davis, that can be marked moot.
Moot,
Moving to number 19, appeal ending 001736728 728 South 13th Street, a Mark S. Carpo and Juan G. Carpo, that can be marked moot.
moot, thank you.
Moving to number 21, appeal ending 0017758 1911 South 18th Street, appellant is a Viet Win, that can be marked moot complied.
Moot compliant, thank you.
I would note that there is another case involving that same property and same appellant, which is number 22 on the list. I believe there is an agreement on that case, but I will let my colleague, Mr. Begelman, enter that into the record after we get through these preliminaries.
Okay,
Moving to number 24, appeal ending 0017771 3203 to 7 Germantown Avenue. Jerome Henry doing business as Albert Valenzuela. That can be marked moot.
moot, thank you.
Moving to number 25, appeal ending 0017777 32 Heckle Street, 247 Fire Protection Incorporated, care of Jason Tealville and Jose Castillo. My understanding is that that appeal has been withdrawn by the appellant.
Withdrawn, okay.
Moving to number 30, appeal ending 001813 1519 North 33rd Street, 1519 North 33rd Street, LLC. That can be marked moot. There is counsel on that case. I believe that we did communicate that with the board and they will not be appearing today.
Yes, that's so noted.
Moving to number 31, appeal ending 001823 4158 Paul Street, Gloria Perez Rodriguez, that can be marked moot.
Moot, thank you.
Moving to number 32, 001832 3445 Amber Street, Renee Garcia III, that can be marked moot.
Moot,
Moving to number 33, appeal ending 001834 6900 Pascal Avenue, Arena Lassiter, that can be marked moot.
moot,
Number 34, 001868 1525 South 11th Street, a Min Hun, last name HUYNH, that can be marked moot.
moot,
Moving to number 36, appeal ending 001873 135 North Lindenwood Street, appellant Bernadette Cash, can be marked moot.
moot,
Number 38, appeal ending 001883 2900 South 20th Street, Unit 3, 20 Pack Company, that can be marked moot.
moot,
Moving to number 39, appeal ending 001895 4629 Spruce Street, appellant Paul McIntosh, marked moot.
moot,
Number 40, appeal ending 001921 4723 North Penn Street, a Boubacar Diabra, moot.
moot, thank you.
Number 42, appeal ending 001937 2347 South Ithan Street, appellant is a Coma Beckham, that can be marked moot.
Moot,
Number 45, appeal ending 001991 305 Hermitage Street, appellant is a John Wallace II, that can be marked moot.
moot, thank you.
Moving to number 47, 002 071 9855 Bustleton Avenue. Just one second. A appellant is a Dilmurad Kajimatov, that can be marked moot.
Moot,
Number 49, appeal ending 004-529, 1434 South Broad Street. Appellant is a Fengru Zhang. That can be marked moot.
Moot. Okay. All righty. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, before
Yes, sir.
we move on, there seemed to be an attorney that's still hanging around. I thought we already read his case out.
Which case is that?
George Costopoulos, I believe.
What number is that?
That would be number, bear with me 1 second. I've been watching it all day. Number 5 and
5 and
number
6?
6. Right.
Yeah.
I don't believe that he heard what the decision was, and he still is online. And I just wanted to make sure that the attorney knew if he needs to sign off, he can sign off.
Okay, Mr. Costopoulos, if you are, I'm not sure who the counterpart is for that matter. And I have someone who's muted, some Stemita. Would you unmute yourself, ma'am? You're muted. We can't hear you.
I will inform her.
Okay.
I will let her know. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good day. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. You excuse. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Washington.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, there's several matters that the board itself has, so we're going to go through those quickly. But before we do that, are there any other matters from the law department? If so, please use the raised hand sign so that we might acknowledge it. Okay, Mr. Rulo?
Yes, board members, I'd like to direct your attention to number 41 on the list, appeal ending 001-928, 24 East Tuppelhocken Street.
Yes.
The Kime Frink.
Okay.
Just as an initial matter, it determining if the appellant is here or not.
I don't see. I'm not sure. But what would you like to put on the record, Mr. Rulo?
Well, the city did have a request, but if the appellant is not here, then we would be requesting that this appeal be denied for failure to appear. So, I guess we can place this on hold for a little bit.
Okay, so there's no settlement in this matter that you are aware of?
No.
Okay, it's number 41, correct?
Yes. So if the appellant is not here, we'd be requesting that. If the appellant was here, we would have a different request, but I'm not going to lodge that if the appellant is
Okay,
not
well,
here.
let's call it in order after we get through everyone else's. We'll come back to it.
Understood.
Okay, do you have anything else?
No, that does it for mine.
Okay, Mr. Fernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to call first to your attention, case number 17 on the list, appeal number ending in 1712, subject premises address 8 Oregon Avenue, appellant Americo Real Estate Company, represented by Augusta O'Neill. That case was previously settled in February. My colleague Caroline Curley sent a settlement agreement in to board administration. I wanted to confirm that the board had received that settlement and disposed of this appeal.
Okay, can you highlight the terms? I'll ask Mr. Wade to check the record while you're doing that.
I don't have that before me right now, but if you give me a moment, I'm sure I will be able to pull it up.
Okay,
Boards did receive it. The same thing. If you give me a second, I can pull up the agreement.
okay.
Okay. I have it up right here. The violations are affirmed under both violation number 720-327 and CF 2023-000665. A stay of enforcement is issued for both of those cases until May 4th, 2024. Appellant agrees to obtain an electrical permit to comply violation number 715025. And thereafter obtain a certificate of occupancy to comply both of the previously stated violation numbers.
Okay.
Those are the terms of the agreement.
Okay, thank you. Just want to make sure that was on the record. Thank you. All right, anything else, Mr. Fernandez?
Yes, I'd like to call to your attention next case number 20 on the list, appeal number ending in 1745, subject premises address 816 North 4th Street, and appellant Store Space QR Philadelphia LP, also represented by Augusta O'Neill. Myself and the appellant's attorney have agreed to continue this matter It is the first continuance requested in this matter. We previously submitted that to board administration where it was received. I wanted to confirm that the continuance was granted.
Yes, so noted. A joint continuance is noted for that record.
Okay, and for
Thank you so much.
of course, my final matter is number 43 on the list, appeal number ending in 1952. Premises address 2001 East Lehigh Avenue. Appellant Jerome Henry, doing business as Joel's Tire Shop. I reached out to this appellant last week, and in our preliminary discussions, I learned that he was not represented by an attorney. He had been cited as a business. Joel's Tire Shop was the responsible party cited on the notice of violation. So after speaking with Mr. Henry, he agreed to obtain representation to go forward with this appeal. And since it was a week or less than a week from the appeal hearing, I agreed to continue this matter. The continuance was sent into board administration. So at this time, I'd like to just confirm that that continuance is being granted.
The continuance was granted in executive session.
Okay, thank you. That
Chair.
that concludes
Mr.
all of my
Chair.
matters for today. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and to the rest of the board as well.
Thank you. There was a comment from someone?
Case 43 was also noted that he was aware that he needed counsel at the next hearing. This would be continued for counsel.
Okay, thank you. I think that I see Mr. Henry noted in on the file. Is that the appellant who's currently appearing? I'm not sure. The file is muted, but I just want to check in. Mr. Henry, can you unmute Jerome Henry?
I just sent him a prompt.
Yes, can
Okay.
you-
Yeah, I just want to confirm, sir, that you were in fact the Jerome Henry, the case we just discussed.
yes, sir.
Okay, so you're going to hire an attorney and then we will reschedule.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you. You have a good afternoon. You excuse.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Henry.
Thank you.
Okay, all righty. Ms. Reinhardt.
Good afternoon, board. I have two matters to put on the record. The first is number 28. This is appeal ending 001805 regarding 1515 Brandywine Street. Appellant Edward Wineland, and I believe that he is in attendance here. The city has a continuance request due to witness unavailability today.
Okay, Ms. Windling, are you present? If you are, if you unmute. I don't, no one's responding. Are you Ed, you the Edward Windling?
I am Edward Wineline, yes.
Okay, the city is requesting a continuance. You
Yeah.
understand?
Well, let me say it.
Well, sir,
I'm not
turn on your,
clear.
sir, before you do that,
Yeah,
would you turn on your video so we can see you?
I thought it was all on.
No, it isn't.
How about that?
No.
Says open system.
It may be blocked where the camera comes out.
Yeah, if your camera is covered in some fashion, it will block your image, but your audio and video need to be on. But sir, the board is inclined to approve the city's request for continuance, and so I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but I just wanted you to know that that's in fact what happened today.
Well,
So we won't be hearing the case today.
yeah, and before we do that, as I understand it, this all just revolves around.
Sir, we aren't. No. We aren't going
No.
to take any testimony regarding the facts of the matter. This is only about continuance request that was put forth, and so that's where we are now.
So you'll send me a notice.
They will send you a notice.
Mr. Chairman,
And
Mr. Chairman,
it's also two other things, Mr. Wiley, while we have you. I believe if this, Ms. Reinhardt, do we need a corporate, this is a corporate matter, so we need an attorney, is that the case? And the issue of standing.
Let me look into that real quick.
I can't. Well,
Yes, the owner is Haverstick Brothwick Company.
yes.
Okay, so Mr. Wiley, what is your relationship to this property?
I was the project manager for the construction.
Okay, so you don't have standing to bring this appeal. The lawyer for the company has to do that.
Well, okay, fine.
Okay. And so we'll need to submit a new schedule. Okay, thank you.
All right, bye.
Okay,
how are we marking this?
Continued.
Okay,
And note that a lawyer is required to,
continue to council.
yes. Thank you. Ms. Reinhardt, anything else?
Thank you. Yes, just one more matter. This is number 21. This is appeal ending 001810 regarding 735 Sansom Street, appellant Barry Sable.
Okay, this isn't 21 though. You said 21?
Oh, I apologize. I thought I said 29.
29. Oh, okay.
Would you like me to read it again?
Yes, please.
Okay. Number 29 on today's hearing list, 001810 regarding 735 Sansom Street, appellant Barry Sable. There is an agreement. This was signed and sent to the board administration in order to mark this case as city affirmed with a 6-month stay of enforcement.
6 months stay? Okay. All right, thank you. So noted.
Thank you. That's all my matters.
Okay, Mr. Christopher Johnson.
Good afternoon, distinguished members of the board. There are 2 cases I would like to raise preliminary matters on. First, with regard to number 15 on today's list, HA 2023-001707, with regard to 2214 South Garnet Street, appellant is Caleb Milner. And I don't believe anyone has appeared on that case today. However, as a preliminary matter, this is the improper venue for that case. It is an unsafe violation of PM 108.1 that would have properly been raised before the Board of Building Standards. However, I've been advised by Inspector Rybakowski that they have obtained a make-safe permit. If no one appears on that case, I'm asking that it be dismissed as failure to appear.
Oh, okay. So we'll call it in order then and do that. Okay, because it's noted on our records as a property maintenance matter.
Yeah, it's an unsafe case where they had internal collapse of the floors. People were living in there with no water. So it was listed as unfit and unsafe and a public nuisance. But as a practical matter, they've obtained a make-safe permit.
Okay, all right. Unfit and unsafe. Okay. We'll come back to it.
Secondly, on the final page on number 44 on today's list, HA 2023-001989, with regard to 8007 East Roosevelt Boulevard, Gary Barbera Autoland. This is an appeal related to their lack of an auto repair license. We've an agreement, and it's city affirm with 120-day stay of enforcement.
City affirm 120-day stay. Okay, thank you. Okay. Mr. John Wazorek, please pronounce it correctly because I know I didn't.
Good afternoon, board members. John Wazorek.
Wazorek, my apologies, sir.
Czorek. This is in regards to number 23 on the list, appeal ending 001760 for the property located at 1453 North Newkirk Street. The appellant is Amina Oliver. I emailed the board this morning with a continuance request due to witness availability issues.
Okay, is Miss Amina Oliver present?
I did not see her on the Zoom.
Okay, the city, that was noted in executive session and it's continued.
Thank you. That concludes my business for the day.
Thank you. You excuse.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Lee Bergman.
Hi, good afternoon, members of the board. I have 3 preliminary matters to address.
Okay.
The first one is appeal number 22 on the list, HA-2023-001759 concerning 1911 South 18th Street. I have reached an agreement with the appellant for a city affirm with a reduced fine of $500.
Okay, fine of $500. Okay, thank you.
I have another agreement to read into the record. That is case number 35 on the list, appeal number HA-2023-001871 concerning 4250 North Reese Street. Also an agreement for a city of firm with a reduced fine of $150.
City of Firm, $150 fine. Okay, thank you.
Lastly, I have one more matter to address. That is case number, I apologies, one moment. It's a case number 27 on the list, appeal HA-2023-001784, concerning 1622-24 Rage Avenue. I submitted a continuance request this morning, copying counsel for appellant. I do not know if counsel has appeared on this hearing yet, but he has not replied to my request for the continuance, but I didn't know if the board had considered that in executive session.
Okay, is Mr. Robert Simmons present? Counsel for the appellant in this matter? The request was made and was considered and reviewed in executive sessions and approved. So we will continue this matter.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Chair, should we just ask for, just for caution, whether Mary Jane Candidos or the lounge, is there anyone present for this property?
Anyone present?
Okay.
No response. Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Sean Loeb. You're muted, sir. Oh, you're still muted, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Sorry about that. I just wanted to call your attention to case number 46 on the list, appeal ending in 01993, property address 4836 North 8th Street, appellant Michel Francois. And we have an agreement there, which would be city of firm with a 60-day stay of enforcement.
City of firm, 60-day stay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone else? Okay, there are several matters that the board itself had questions about, and so I want to review those quickly. Hopefully.
Can I move for a continuance, Mr. Chairman, a late breaking issue? Or do you want to wait until the case is called?
We'll wait till the case is called.
All right.
You may want to, Mr. DeMarco, check with your counterpart from the city. In
I
a
did.
breakout room, that may be helpful, and that person can present the preliminary.
I think they're not going to agree, but okay.
Okay, well then you have to wait.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Number one, ending in 1566, 4813 North Camac Street. Marilyn Cologne. Who's representing the city?
It's Christopher Johnson for the city of Philadelphia.
Okay, is Marilyn Cologne present? We have a standing question.
I don't believe that I saw anyone who appeared on that case.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask one more time. Anyone present representing 4813 North Camac Street? Okay, no response.
No one in the waiting room under that name. Address listed on the appeal, 4813 North Camac. Notice of hearing was sent to 4813 North Camac on March 4th, 2024.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pincus, what time do you have?
1:18 p.m.
1:18 p.m. Mr. Johnson, what is your pleasure? No response on this matter.
The city would ask that it be the city affirm failure to appear and that Inspector Alicio be released.
Okay, thank you. We will poll the board on HA 2023-001566 4813 North Camac Street, Maryland, Cologne. City affirm non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirm for non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
Thank you very much. The inspector is dismissed. Excuse rather, not dismissed. So you can have the balance of your day. Okay, down to number 12. That's ending in 1690, 4165 Torresdale Avenue, Norman Nyfield. There are two appeals, 12 and 13.
Yes,
this
is Chris Johnson for the city of Philadelphia.
Okay, the issue here is for us is we believe this is a corporate matter, so an attorney must be representing the interest of the appellant. Has anyone present from 4165 Torresdale Avenue?
I don't believe anyone has appeared on that either.
No one present. Okay, Mr. Wade, would you check the record for service, please?
Mr. Chair, are we combining 12 and 13?
No, it's just that it's the same appellate. And so we'll call each one separate for a decision. But same, it's the same appellant for both violations.
Thank you.
Yep.
Address listed on the appeal, 4165 Torresdale Avenue.
Okay.
Hearing notice sent to 4165 Torresdale Avenue on March 4th, 2024.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Johnson, what is your pleasure?
The city is going to ask that it be marked as for both 12 and 13, city affirm, failure to appear.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pincus, give me a time, please. Mr. Pincus? You muted.
My apologies. It's 1:20 p.m.
1:20 p.m. We'll poll the board regarding HA-2023-001890. 4165 Torresdale Avenue, Norman Nyfield, city affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you very much.
And I'm going to respectfully ask that Inspector Alvarado, if there's no other matters, can be released.
Yes, he's excused.
We do have to decide the next case, though, which
yes,
is the same
yes.
property address.
Yes. With regard to HA-2023-001696, 4165 Torresdale Avenue, what is your pleasure, Mr. Johnson?
The city respectfully requests that it be marked as city affirmed, failure to appear.
Okay, Mr. Pincus, what time?
1:22 p.m.
1:22 p.m. We will now poll the board on HA 2023-001696, 4165 Torresdale Avenue, Norman Nyfield, city affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you very much. Let's move on to number 26. And that's 5739 Cherry Street, last four digits, 1781. Who's representing that matter?
And Mrs. Reinhardt's in a
Breakout room.
I believe that was continued. Actually, that's Mr. Thomas.
Good afternoon, members of the board. This is Thomas Guyutza representing the city in this matter.
Okay. There was an issue, there was a request for a continuance. Is it Corey Leon who's representing the appellant present? Okay.
I do not believe I see him, sir.
Okay, but you did request a continuance in this matter?
I did request a continuance. Yes, that is correct. However, the witness did end up being available today, so the continuance is no longer necessary in this matter.
Okay, but did you previously inform the appellant that a continuance was being requested?
I did inform the appellant. Yes, that is
okay.
correct.
So let's, in this instance, to be fair to everyone, we'll continue this matter. Okay,
that is fine, sir. Thank you.
Please note it as continued.
I'm sorry. What property was that? Was that 5739 Cherry Street?
Who's speaking?
This is Sade Bentley. That's my property.
Okay. Yes, that's the. It was an attorney who was scheduled, who was listed as Corey Leon as your lawyer, correct?
Yeah, he was for my other property, but he's not for this one. It's not needed. This particular property has a rental license. So.
Okay, wait. No,
we have listed Kenneth Bentley.
Yeah, no, wait a minute.
But
just
not Sade Bentley.
Okay, we got different Bentley noted, Ms. Sade. We have a Kenneth Bentley Jr. noted.
Yeah, so the house is the house is in my name. The rental license is in my name. It's the entire house. I got the most recent.
Let's
so
do this.
Is in my name.
Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Apparently, this is LLC owned or corporately owned property.
No,
it's not. It's individually owned.
Yes.
Okay, but so Mr. Leon is not your counsel for this appeal.
Not for this property, no, no.
Okay, all right. So this that means that, ma'am, you weren't not notified because the city
That
communicated
wasn't.
with you. But you can't speak while I'm speaking.
I'm sorry.
You were not notified that the city needed to continue today's hearing. So if your application includes the lawyer's name, you need to change that. So, Ms. Guglielmo, please note that the Mr. Leon is not the legal counsel for this property.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess you should be communicating with Ms. Sade Bentley. And ma'am, also Mr. Kenneth Bentley's name, I'm not sure how his name got associated with this either. So it sounds like you need to change the paperwork.
I think this was filed a long time ago, so
it may have, but we can't resolve it right now. But just note it for the record, okay? So we're going to continue this matter because the witness is not available. So I apologize for any inconvenience to you and your schedule.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I believe counsel for the city has indicated that the witness is now available.
Oh, you did. You're absolutely correct. Ms. Bentley, are you prepared to go forward?
I mean, I am. Go ahead. We good.
Okay.
Mr.
Your
Chair,
witness still available?
Chair, I would really have questions on the fact of whether she even submitted the appeal at all.
I did submit the appeal.
Did not submit the appeal, and that's the reason why we have Mr. Kenneth Bentley on there.
Okay, let's do
there's
this.
A whole lot of stuff we got to do over again.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. Ma'am, if you are available, and Mr. Guglielmo, pronounce your name again, sir, because I've just butchered it.
That's okay, sir. My name is Mr. Gulutza.
Gulutza. If you would go in a breakout room with Ms. Bentley.
Certainly, I can.
Because you need to resolve
want to raise one issue, though. In looking at the appeal documents, I can confirm that the appeal was signed by a Kenneth Bentley. So the city would like to object to this person raising the appeal.
Correct. So Ms. Sade, although you may be the owner of record, unfortunately, you didn't submit the appeal. So
okay, well, how about we have him log in?
No. Well, if he's the appellant, then he needs to log in. But if he is not the owner of the property, if it's in your name alone, then we can't hear from him either.
Yeah, how does that work?
Well, that means you get a lawyer and/or you resubmit your appeal properly. So let's do this so that's no confusion. Go in the breakout room and you can call him and have him join you with Mr. Galusa.
Okay. Yeah,
and so that he can discuss with you whether or not to proceed today.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Mr. Wade, would you give him a breakout room, please?
You want the inspector in there as well?
That's up to the attorney, city's attorney. He can, if it would help, yes.
We don't need the inspector in the room for the initial conversation, but I can send a message to the board administrators if we do need to bring that person in.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Just have a few more preliminary matters. Number 37. And this is 1876-4241 Main Street. Michael Bassiano, and this is represented by Slomowitz as the attorney for the appellant, and who's representing the city.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Leonard F. Reuter, R-E-U-T-E-R, for the city of Philadelphia.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Reuter, I know we have a preliminary matter just to put on the record. Do you have anything?
Yeah, actually, we're in a breakout room, and Mr. Slomowitz and myself and our respective clients have agreed to make a joint request for a continuance of the matter.
Okay. Is this the first request?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll note it as continued.
Okay, but you did mention, I'm just curious, you said that the board had a
Well, yeah, our concern is that we wanted to narrow the area of argument.
Sure.
Because we did not want to go over the historic commissions and relitigate that whole process. We only here to hear any perspective about alleged violations of the procedure and or law surrounding this matter of historic designation.
Right. Okay.
So that's what we wanted to make clear before we started the hearing. But
yeah, no, and we're hoping that the issue could potentially resolve. And we're asking for at least 60 days. I doubt that the board could get us here earlier than that anyway, but 60 days because we need to go out to the property to do some other things, and it's going to take time.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Now, the final preliminary matter that we have is 2154, 1434 South Broad Street. And that's, I know Mr. DeMarco was present. And who's representing the city?
Hi, this is Caroline Curley on behalf of the city of Philadelphia.
Good afternoon, Ms. Curley. The board had two issues that we needed to contend with. Well, there's a matter of standing that we wanted to contend with. And I know there's an issue of a continuance request that Mr. DeMarco had submitted. And so I think the first matter of continuance was denied. We felt that this was a longstanding notice of the hearing today, so we aren't inclined to continue today's hearing. Just want to know if both parties are prepared to proceed.
Well, I want to make sure you understand what my request is, Mr. Chairman. May I?
Okay, please. Yes.
All right. So the issue is I had to come into the polling area. I didn't realize today was election day. We're a little bit shorthanded at my polling station. I'm a poll watcher. It's very quiet right now, but it can get noisy. I am prepared to move forward. I was not expecting to have to raise this, but it can get very noisy in here, and I certainly don't want to upset the board and have a lot of background noise. It's very quiet right now, but that's because there are no voters here, but they will walk in on occasion. I had to be here. I didn't realize I'd have to be physically present at the polling station, but I had to come in. So I want to make sure you're aware of that. My witnesses are available. I can move forward, but I was hoping that maybe I wanted to avoid a problem where the board would not be able to hear me so
yes.
That was the reason. I mean, I'd certainly be ready at the next listing. I don't want to, it's quiet right now, but that might change quickly.
Okay. Mr. DeMarco, as an individual who's intimately involved in the electoral process, the dates of the election are fairly well known to all of the general public, particularly to someone like yourself. And of course, the board would not be happy to hold a hearing with interference and background noise. So as an attorney, you would understand that we would not be particularly pleased to have to contend with background noise. And so we would expect you to come prepared in a space that's prepared for hearing. Ms. Curley, any response to that request?
So I would want to address at least the standing issue today, because
we'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah, but if the board does find that there's no standing, then there's no need for another hearing.
Yes.
So, I do at least want to address that. The city is prepared to move forward today. We are fans of democracy. So if the board wanted to continue it because of Mr. DeMarco's request as to the substantive matter of the appeal, we are ready. We think this can be disposed of quickly, but we leave that to the board.
Okay, so let's move on then to the standing matter. The appellants, as I understand it, are the South Broad Street Neighbors Civic Association. Mr. DeMarco, we need to hear from you in terms of what is their relationship to this property.
So an RCO, they are the registered community organization for the area. My main witness lives next door to the property. Any RCO that has membership that has members of the organization that live in or near the property is automatically granted standing under the case law of the Commonwealth. There's clearly standing in this case. The issue is the contention of what we believe to be an illegal conversion of a single family property to a rooming house situation. That's proven by the wording of the permit that we have challenged. My main witness, Anthony Brutinitti, is the next door neighbor and is the zoning chairman of the RCO. I think the motion is clearly frivolous. It's clearly clearly should be denied. There's clearly legal standing under case law. Whenever an RCO organization has membership that has legal standing, that's automatic standing for the organization.
Okay, but now you're mixing some things, Mr. DeMarco. The issue of standing for a zoning matter is one thing, and I guess they did the hearing and submitted an opinion to the ZBA. This is the issue of the permit that was issued that you're challenging, correct?
Yes, and of course,
what makes it illegal? The issue is why is the issuance of a permit that was legally obtained challenges illegal.
What's the question, Mr. Chairman?
You're challenging the issuance of a permit, correct?
We are challenging the permit as issued in error, yes, and we live right next to the property. So if the permit, if you rule against us, it will harm my clients.
Okay, but you're alleging that it was issued in error. That's what the allegation would be?
Yeah, by its wording, yes, that's right.
Okay. Ms. Curley, your response to the standing matter?
So board, you kind of touched on this issue in your questions. Appellants are arguing that L&I incorrectly issued a mechanical permit, not a zoning permit, a mechanical permit for the installation of 6 mini split HVAC units. The only basis for that assertion is that the permit in and of itself is per se evidence that the property is being used as a multi-family residence rather than a single family residence. That in violation of the zoning code. So their whole argument revolves around a zoning issue that hasn't been decided yet. They are in essence arguing that this property, as Mr. DeMarco said, is currently being converted into a multifamily as evidenced by the permit itself. They're not arguing, that this is currently being used as a multifamily unit. They're not arguing that there's anything inherently wrong with the mechanical permit in and of itself. They're just arguing that this is a zoning issue. Okay. They're arguing, and that's the sole basis for their appeal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, Mr. DeMarco, wait.
If I just could. Okay,
yes,
sorry.
please. Right. Please continue.
So this is not, the issue for standing is there has to be an agreement sufficient to establish standing. And to establish aggrieved status, the party has to have a substantial, direct, and immediate interest in what's being litigated. This isn't an immediate issue.
Okay.
So there's no agreement.
Mr. DeMarco, is it your contention or your client's contention that the mere installation of multiple splits, HVAC units, represents is illegal? I mean, can a single family house have 5, 6, 7, 8 splits if they want it?
It says on the permit itself, it references multiple units. There were multiple, my clients have evidence of multiple refrigerators, multiple
yes,
electrical
but then,
panels.
unless there is
None of that is, let me respond.
Yeah.
None of that is consistent with a single family usage. My clients are aggrieved if the permit will stand. We have evidence that it should not have been issued.
Okay, and is there a zoning change of use?
The zoning is single family. And
has there been an application for change of use?
I'm sorry?
Has there been an application for change of use?
So there was a permit actually issued for single family.
Right.
And the permit for the mechanical permit that we appealed references multiple living units.
Okay. Has there been wait. Is there a general contractor's permit associated with the mechanical contract?
There's an electrical permit. There's a building permit. And there's a mechanical permit. The mechanical permit we filed the appeal on.
Yeah. Now the building permit, is it noticing a change of use on the building permit?
It says single family.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, let's do this. Before we proceed, I want to take the board into executive session, Mr. DeMarco and Ms. Curley, and we'll get back to you with the decision. Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Before we do that, does someone have either it's been submitted as an exhibit that we should look at, and maybe we can do that in an executive session? You've challenged a mechanical permit. I guess I'd like to see that at this point.
I believe it's attached to Mr. DeMarco's appeal and is also an exhibit in the city's exhibit.
Mr. Pincus, I can share that with you.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's Mr. Wade, give us a breakout space, please. Curley. This is regarding 1434 South Broad Street, final 4 digits 2154. Two matters. After reviewing the details that's put forth in the appeal, we determined that Mr. DeMarco's client does have standing, so we will hear the matter, but we will continue it. And also, Ms. Curley, we would encourage the city to have someone who is able to testify as to the actual use of the property.
Yeah, we have that today.
Okay, all right. So,
the other thing I want to raise is Mr. DeMarco's clients don't possess this permit. So the actual property owner should be notified of the next hearing if they're going to lose their permit, and
Yes.
DeMarco should notify them so they can appear.
Mr. DeMarco, please do that.
Oh, yeah, I notified them about today, but I will absolutely do it for the next listing, and I appreciate the continue.
Okay, so we'll continue it for today, and we will try to resolve this at our next hearing. Have a good day.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Have a
Okay.
good afternoon. Appreciate it.
Okay, I believe that's the final preliminary matter. Mr. Wade, Mr. Rulo has a question before we get started.
Yes, board members. Earlier I had, let me direct the board's attention, excuse me, first to number 41 on the list, appeal ending 001-928, 24 East Tulpehocken Street.
Yes.
Appellant is a Keim Frank. I had begun to make a request earlier. It did not appear that the appellant was here. It is now nearly 2 p.m. There's the last case for that inspector. So
okay.
I would respectfully ask, given the time, that if Mr. Frank is not here, that this ruling be entered finding that the city affirmed for failure to appear.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Wade, would you confirm service, please?
Appeal 24 East Tulpehocken Street.
Yes.
And the address on the hearing to appeal was sent out to 24 East Tulpehocken Street on March 4th, 2024.
Okay, and that's Keim Frank, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. The time, Mr. Pincus?
Should we make sure and call the case one time just to make sure that no one is here?
Sure.
Case number 41, hearing appeal ending 1928, 24 East Tulpehocken Street, Keim Frank. No one in the waiting room, unnamed.
Okay, thank you. Anyone present representing Keim Frank? Okay. Time, Mr. Pincus?
1:52 p.m.
52 p.m. The city's preference is to affirm the city for lack of appearance. HA-2023-001928, 24 East Tulpehocken Street, Keim Frank, city affirm, non-appearance.
City affirm, non-appearance.
City affirm, non-appearance. City affirm for non-appearance.
City affirm, non-appearance.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's see here. We have two additional matters. Number 15. 2214 South Garnett Street. Caleb Mill.
Okay, I'm here. Hello?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
Who's representing the city?
Mr. Milne.
Okay, sir. We'll need to see you if we can.
I'm on the video. I can't. My phone does not work as far as the microphone. I attempted to turn it on. You can see me. I'm on both.
Mr. Wade, do we have two?
IT did attempt to help him, but his microphone on his phone is actually broken. So it's on his end, his equipment.
Oh.
The only way to get him in was a phone call.
Okay.
I am on the video, but my microphone doesn't work.
Okay, you can use both. You can put yourself on video and then talk through your phone.
I am on video right now, but my microphone's not working.
Okay.
And I'm on the phone.
Okay, Mr. Wade, if this other device available?
I see.
Mr. Chair.
Wait. Mr. Wade was responding. Mr. Wade was responding. Mr. Wade, what was your response, please?
I see he's on a named cell phone device, and the second device he was in on, I do not see the video option.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Who's representing the city in this matter?
Yeah, this is Christopher Johnson from the city of Philadelphia.
Yes. Mr. Johnson, you had represented the city's position changing in this matter. So would you put that on record, please?
it's a matter in which I know that Mr. Milner has he filed this appeal, but then he obtained a make safe permit in January of this year. So the situation of the property is he needs to continue work under the make safe permit until the final inspection and obtain all the required inspections. However, it was an unsafe violation related to the collapse of floors inside the structure, and because of that, the city's position is this should be reassigned to the Board of Building Standards.
Okay, and also there was a legal counsel noted a Michael Glessner as legal counsel.
Yeah, Mr. Gesner's not going to be here.
Is he still representing you in this matter, though?
No, he's not.
Okay. The advice that we're getting from the city is that this matter should really go to the Board of Building Standards and not to the Illinois Board of Review.
But building standards, I don't understand. I fixed the beam. I did the.
So what's the basis
study.
of the appeal? But what's the basis of your appeal then?
Sir, I had the inspector out. The inspector said that Mr. DiBonato, I believe, he said everything was fine.
Okay,
I got the permits. He came out. I sent him an email yesterday. He never returned the email.
Okay,
just for the record,
okay, wait a minute, Mr. Johnson.
You can schedule the final inspection through Eclipse, but I will give you my email address and you can email me. We can discuss it, but the city's position is this isn't the proper forum for this.
So let's do this.
This is not the proper forum.
Yeah, now, Mr. Mill. Mr. Mill.
Yes, sir.
We're going to continue this for today and allow you and/or your lawyer to talk with Mr. Johnson. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, because is this building owned by you individually?
Yeah. No, with my wife.
Okay, just with you and your wife? Okay.
Yeah.
So you and Mr. Johnson should talk because I think he may be able to help you resolve this matter rather than creating a complex hearing that may not be useful for you.
Okay, that's great, but I just want to tell the court.
Okay, no.
Oh,
We don't need to
okay.
hear anything else for the record. We will note for the record that this matter has been continued.
Mr. Chair, am I going to reassign this to building standards?
Now let's continue it first. And because we don't have the authority to assign it to building standards, we can recommend to him that he do that. But in the meantime, we can make a recommendation to the Board of Building Standards. But Mr. Johnson, you'll need to respond to Board Administration after you talk to Mr. Milne.
Okay, and just again for the record, if there's a final inspection on the permit, it will get complied.
Okay.
So
and once you explain that to him, that may be
yes.
the real solution here, and it'll get withdrawn. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
How may I reach out to you?
Christopher.Johnson@phila.gov.
Christopher.Johnson@Philadelphia.
No, Phila, PHILA.gov.
I will send you the email that I forwarded to Mr. DiBonato that he
Thank
didn't respond to, sir.
Thank you.
And
Can I
sir,
have
make
your
sure
telephone
that.
number?
Oh.
Sir?
215.
Yes, sir.
683. 5118.
May I ask the court, do we have another date, sir?
Not yet. Your date will be rescheduled after your conversation with Mr. Johnson. If
Yes,
you need,
sir.
you may not need one.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Mr. Johnson, you may expect my email tomorrow.
Thanks so much.
Okay.
Thank
And
you, Mr.
yeah, that's
Thank you,
phila.gov,
Your
not
Honor.
Philadelphia.
Pardon?
That's phila.gov, not Philadelphia. It's phila.gov.
I got that. Christopher, spelled Christopher Johnson at.
Yeah, Christopher.Johnson.
Put a period.
I have JOHNSON.
Correct.
But put a
Okay,
period
Christopher,
between
Charlie,
Christopher.
Hotel, Romeo, India, Sierra, Tango, Oscar, Papa, Hotel, Echo, Romeo.
Correct.
No, it's
Okay,
not
Roger.
correct because he didn't put the dot between Christopher and Johnson.
Okay, yeah, I have that, Your Honor. 215-683-5118.
Yeah. And
Thank you.
Mr. Milne,
Okay.
in the future,
Yes.
please use a device where we can see you. That makes life a lot easier. We can't, it's hard to communicate with, sir, you can't speak while I'm speaking.
I'm
You
sorry,
can't speak
Your
while
Honor.
I'm speaking.
I didn't know my phone was defective, Your Honor.
So So I'm saying that please have either a laptop, a computer, or a telephone that's properly connected, because this doesn't work.
Your Honor, I will go to T-Mobile and replace my phone, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right,
Thank
so
you,
that
Your
matter's
Honor.
resolved.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Wade, what do we have as our next matter?
I thought you had one more, you said. You don't?
Oh, yes, that was number 26, 5739 Cherry Street. And I know that
Thomas Galuzza for the city.
Galuzza. So, Mr. Galuzza, what did we come up with?
Well, we did actually come to a agreement while we were in the breakout room. I will be typing up that settlement agreement and transmitting it over to you folks by the end of business today.
Okay, is the appellant still with us?
I believe she is, yes. Let's
I am.
take a look. Yes.
Does she have, Mr. Galuzza, does she have standing to represent the interests of this address?
She does, yes.
Okay, and so would you verbally tell us put it on the record, please?
Certainly. We have come to an agreement of a $400 fine that will be payable to the city with a 60-day stay for time for payment.
Okay, so there's a settlement, City of
Yes,
Fern.
there is a settlement.
City of Fern, $400 fine with a 60-day stay. Is that accurate?
That is accurate, yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Bentley, do you concur?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you very much. So that matter is resolved. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All righty. Okay, I think that's it for preliminary matters after a couple hours here. Okay, Mr. Wade, what do we have for that first matter?
Brings us to case number 3, hearing appeal ending 1612, 6005 Lansdowne Avenue, Dion Givens.
Okay. All right, who's representing the city?
This is Christopher Johnson for the city of Philadelphia, and I have one witness in this matter. It's Inspector Robert Curran.
Okay. And is anyone present representing the interests of 6005 Lansdowne Avenue?
Yes, Dion Givens.
Oh, Dion. Okay, Mr. Givens. Mr. Givens, and what is your relationship to this property?
Owner.
Is anyone else on the deed other
Yes.
than yourself?
Yes, I own it as well.
Pardon me, you're getting an echo. I'm not sure why we are.
I'm on the deed as well.
And who are you?
Jacquel Scott.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, have you seen the deed to know whether or not?
Yeah,
they need a lawyer?
I checked it. That's accurate. They purchased property in 2019.
Okay, okay, so they're both the owners. Okay, all righty, sir. We will need both of you to be sworn. So you could raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony you give today be the truth to help you God, Mr. Givens?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Johnson, your witness?
Yes, and just as a preliminary matter, I'm going to explain to the board. I think the violation here was for installing the exterior covering the siding of the front of the building at 6005 Lansdowne Avenue with no required building permit. I'm going to call one witness in this case. It is Inspector Robert Curran.
Okay, Mr. Curran, please raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony you give today be the truth to help you God?
I do.
All right, thank you. Mr. Curran, I note that you're in a vehicle. Are you parked in a safe place?
I am parked.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're
Just
welcome.
as a note to everyone who's participating today, if you're in a vehicle, you must be parked in a safe place, or we will not hear your case or permit you to participate in any fashion if you're in a moving vehicle. Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Scott, Mr. Givens, do you have any witnesses other than yourselves?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Johnson, let's proceed.
Mr. Curran, can you please tell the board where you're employed?
I'm employed with the City of Philadelphia Department of License and Inspections, building inspector.
You're a building inspector?
Correct.
And how long have you been a building inspector?
I've been employed with the city since 2018.
And that's as all that time as an inspector?
Yes.
And are you familiar with the property at 6005 Lansdowne Avenue?
I did not write the initial violation, but I did go out there and I updated the photographs.
And did you have a chance to review the department's records with regard to 6005 Lansdowne?
Yes, I have.
Okay. With the board's permission, if it pleases the board, I'd like to share my screen at this time.
Yes, please.
And I'm going to show right now what's marked as City Exhibit C1 with regard to the matter. Can you see the document on the screen, Inspector Curran?
I do.
And can you tell us what this document is?
It's a notice of violation and order to correct.
And what was the date of the notice?
It's March 10th, 2023.
And what was the date of the initial inspection?
March 8th, 2023.
And could you tell us what was the violation that was written at that time?
They need a permit for installing an exterior siding onto the property.
And I'm going to ask you, there's another document at page 3. What is this document?
That is your final notice violation.
And what was the date of the final notice?
September 1st, 2023.
And I'm going to show you what's at page 5. This is a photograph. Can you identify what the photograph shows?
It's showing a new exterior wall covering, 2 new vinyl windows, and a new exterior front door.
And can you please describe for us what type of structure is this?
I believe that is a commercial property off the top of my head.
Well, you've been there yourself?
I was. It has been some time.
Right. Do you know how many stories the building is?
Off the top of my head, I do not.
And what is this photograph show in page 6?
It's showing the exterior of the building.
And
the new.
Say that again.
And the new siding.
And when you observed it, you can tell that it was recently installed?
You can pull it up on Atlas and you can look it up on old city records what the front of the property used to look like.
And this was photograph taken on what date?
Shows March 8th, 2023.
Okay. And how about the document that's at page 7? What are we looking at here?
It's the exterior of the property, the front exterior of the property, new vinyl side, or the new exterior siding. Pardon me.
And finally, one last photograph, at page 8. Is this one that you took yourself?
That is.
And in your review of the records of the department, has any permit been applied for or obtained for that property?
There was never a permit obtained for the exterior portion of that property.
And is that required if the exterior wall covering is replaced in such a manner? Is that a required permit?
It is required in the city of Philadelphia.
Does this present any danger to the health and safety of the public?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. Would it be required under a permit to pass an inspection to show that it was safely installed?
Yes, it would.
So if I could ask you again, would that possibly present a danger to the public?
Yes, it can.
Is that abutting the sidewalk?
Yes.
Could pieces of the siding fall off onto someone's head if they weren't correctly installed?
Yes, it can.
So that does present a danger to the health and safety of the public, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it can.
And I'm going to ask that C1 be admitted at this time.
So admitted.
Now, Inspector Curran, have you checked the permit history recently to see if they applied for anything for the exterior of the structure?
Yes, I checked this morning. I didn't see anything on there.
I have nothing further at this time.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Scott or Mr. Givens, do you have any cross-examination of the inspector? Any questions related to his testimony?
Just one.
Please identify yourself before you speak so we know which person is recorded.
Oh, yes, sir. Dion Gibbons.
Okay.
I looked up just as wondering about vinyl siding and aluminum siding. I thought that you wouldn't need a permit for switching out your aluminum siding.
Mr. Gibbons, do you have a question to ask of the inspector regarding his testimony?
Yes, about the aluminum siding. I seen that for aluminum siding on exterior walls.
Okay, I guess your question is that if you're replacing aluminum siding with this new siding, do you require a permit? Is that your question?
Yes, but if they're both aluminum siding.
Okay, Mr. Curran, what's your response to that?
It is required in the city of Philadelphia to obtain a permit to install a new siding.
But I guess his question is that if you're replacing, if you're taking off old and putting on new, is that require a permit?
Yes, it does.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Anyone else?
Have a question to Mr.
What? Yeah, let me. I just want to have Mr. Givens, Mr. Scott complete their cross, and then we'll get back to we'll have the board get in. Mr. Givens and Mr. Scott, any additional questions of Mr. Curran? Okay. I mean, you can present your case in a moment, but I just wanted to give you an opportunity to cross-examine him on his testimony. Okay. All right, let's move on. Mr. Washington, you had a question.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Inspector Karen, when was the last time you visited the property?
I don't know off the top of my head. I can look it up on the computer real quick if you like.
Was it this year? Did you visit the property this year?
Whatever the last photo is. I don't know the date off the top of my head, sir.
Mr. Johnson, that last photo that was submitted in the evidence, what was the date of that?
I believe it was August. I'm resharing the last photograph at this time, August 31st, 2023.
Okay, thank you. And so I guess, Mr. Curran, is that the last time you visited the property?
I would guess so, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, my next question is what brought you to the property?
I originally did not write the violation on this. A previous inspector wrote it. He is no longer with the department. I took over his area afterwards, so we have to, after initial violation is written, we had to follow through the process of issuing a final notice and then ultimately
okay, so you did a follow-up from the last inspector in 2023, correct?
Correct.
And I'm just curious, why did you contradict yourself twice about the health and safety issue concerning the installation of the siding?
I'm just basing everything off the photo. I don't see any unsafe conditions with the property. I'm basing this off the photo.
What's your testimony? Was the installation done incorrectly or unsafely? Or, I mean, I'm trying to follow your testimony.
Well, you would need a periodic inspection to see how they installed that onto the property, onto that wall. So typically you would need an inspection for that to see how
so there was an original inspection done that passed it for them to continue.
There was never a permit to pass an inspection.
So there was no original inspection done?
No, there wasn't. That was installed without permits.
Okay, and so I want to go back just for my own knowledge. Is there a difference between the aluminum siding and this new type siding they have out? Because this don't look like aluminum siding to me. So is there a different requirement for both?
He would need an exterior wall covering permit.
Okay, so
they could state the material that they plan to use to install for that wall.
Okay. Thank you. No more questions, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Johnson, any additional witnesses?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Scott or Mr. Givens, you two, between the two of you, decide who will be your spokesperson. So tell us your understanding of what happened and what's going on. Please identify yourself, please.
I'm Jocko Scott.
Okay.
My understanding of what happened is he's saying that he believes that he needs we should get it inspected to see, I guess, if it's unsafe or safe. No,
I think you're starting at the wrong place. As the two of you who submitted the appeal, you should make the argument as to why you appealed the violation notice.
Okay, sorry.
This is your appeal, so we need to hear from you as to why you appealed it and what's your argument.
Well, one, what he was saying that we had just replaced some siding and stuff because, you know, after 2020 during the riots, they kind of broke up our property, and at the time we kind of got some funding, some money to be able to get some things fixed because me myself, I mean, right now I just work at Family Dollar and I'm just raising my family. So there's some things we might have overlooked and made a mistake, but our intentions was to not go behind the city back and do something.
And then
we might have been definitely unknowledgeable of some things at the time, but like I said, we were just replacing some things that were damaged, and the building been like that for quite some time.
For Dion Givens speaking, I'm sorry, for multiple years now. Also,
okay, you're Mr. Scott, right?
I was Mr. Scott that was just talking.
Okay, all right. So reason I'm pressing on this because we have a court reporter, and each time someone speaks, he has to attach the language to that name, and given the two of you, so you need to say that who you are each time you speak.
I understand.
Yes, sir. So it's Dion Givens speaking. So yes, underneath of it is woods from the old siding, and we were able to put it up just with that. As I know, he said that the wall covering. Also, probably he's thinking of the new ones with the metal, but that's not that siding. And also, we were having issues with getting contact with LNI and things like that during 2020 and COVID and everything like that.
Okay. All right. One question: how is that building being used? Is it residential or commercial or both?
Residential. I live there with my family, me, my fiance, and my two kids.
Oh,
I'm sorry, it's Jocko Scott speaking.
Okay.
And I live there with my fiance and my two kids. I have a son that is 10, my daughter is 8.
Okay. So you live in the whole building?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to share with us before we hear more questions?
Not at this time.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, any other questions of Mr. Scott or Mr. Givens?
Yes, please.
Yes. Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, for Mr. Scott, so you testified that after you purchased the property in 2019, you came into some money in 2020 and put it into the building to rehabilitate the building. Is that correct?
Yeah, what was the Jocko Scott speaking. Was
it TPP loan?
No, it was for storm disaster relief. I had got that, and then plus a couple dollars, I got some stuff done.
Okay, so and it's a single family dwelling in your primary residence, right?
Yeah. Well, the building itself has been in my family for quite some time.
Okay.
And that's how I kind of we came into the building.
And I don't know if you're aware, I'm going to ask you, are you aware now that part of what the city asks when they issue the notice of violation is that, so the violation was there's a required permit you didn't obtain, but in order to comply the violation, the city's position, you can go and get that permit now.
Now, I'm sorry, sorry to cut you off, but while we were downtown,
When we put in appeal, I believe I put in we gave them money for the permit as well. So I'm not sure why that wasn't, I was a little shocked that when he said they didn't see the permit. I thought I did put the permit in for it as well, because he told me it was only like $60 or something like that. So for the permit, I don't know, just apply for the permit. I'm not sure how much the permit is, but apply for the permit, but when I thought I applied through them, so I was.
The city's just gonna ask that you can confirm, like, you're aware that you can get the permit fairly inexpensively and get all the inspections to get it certified, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further.
Okay, thank you. One question for you, gentlemen. Did you do the work yourself, or you hire a contractor to do the work?
We are contractors.
You are? Well, I thought you worked at Family Dollar, so you were.
No, I said we hired. No,
oh, you hired a contractor. Is there any reason why you didn't have your contractor submit the building permit request?
It was during 2020, and we really couldn't get in touch with the city. We was having
Okay, an experienced contractor knows how to do that, and we issue contract permits all along.
Yes, sir.
So you may need to have that. You're going to have to identify the contractor on your permit application, I believe. Okay, anything else from anyone? Okay. No. Okay, thank you very much. Gentlemen, if you don't have anything else, we're going to call the vote on this matter. Just one moment. HA-2023-001 612 6005 Lansdowne Avenue. That's 6005 Lansdowne Avenue. Dion Givens and Jaquil Scott. City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
Mr. Washington, you're muted, sir.
City affirmed.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen, you've lost your appeal, but you can appeal our decision. And should you choose to do that, and if you need information, call the office, that number that's on the communication, and they will give you information as to how to appeal the decision of the board. Okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. Have a good afternoon.
You too.
Okay. All righty. Mr. Wade, what do we have next?
Case number 7. Hearing appeal ending 1642 4521 North 3rd Street, Yvonne Ramirez.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, members of the board. This is Thomas Gluyutza representing the city.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gluyutza. Is anyone present representing 4521 North 3rd Street? 4521 North 3rd Street, Yvonne Ramirez. No one responding. Mr. Wade, do we have anybody on the screen or in the waiting room anywhere?
Okay, I don't believe anyone is unidentified. Ms. Ramirez indicated our mailing address is 4521 North 3rd Street. Hearing notice was mailed out to 4521 North 3rd Street on March 4th, 2024.
Okay, thank you. No one has responded. Mr. Gluyutza, what is your preference?
We would request a city affirm for failure to appear.
All right, thank you. Mr. Pincus, what time do you have?
2:22 p.m.
2:22 p.m. All righty, we'll poll the board on HA-2023-001642 4521 North 3rd Street. Yvonne Ramirez. City affirmed, non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you very much. Okay, what's the next matter, Mr. Wade?
Case number 10, hearing appeal ending 1656 1621 West End Drive, Jessica Dries.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, Lee Bagelman for the city.
Mr. Bagelman, good afternoon. Is anyone present representing Jessica Dries? Ma'am, we can't hear you. We still can't hear you. Did you turn your volume up, possibly? Mr. Wade, can someone connect with her to see if they can help her?
Nikki, can you reach out or?
Yeah, you want me to pull her in the breakout room?
Ms. Reeves, we're going to put you in the breakout room for a moment to see if we can help you get connected to us with one of our IT people. Okay.
This is the final matter, so.
Okay. Did you give Ms. Dries the opportunity to go in the breakout room?
I'm doing it right now. I didn't know if you want to call.
Mr. Chairperson, just as a preliminary matter, the
Yes.
Violation at issue in this appeal is a site violation notice that was issued to a Jessica Hubert. I'm not sure whether or not the appellant Jessica Dries is the same individual. Previously, there was counsel listed, an individual by the name of Ashley Sullivan. I just wanted to note that for the record, just to inquire as to whether or not Jessica Hubert is in fact Jessica Dries. I just wanted to note that for you.
Okay, thank you.
If I may,
once we get her connected, yeah.
I believe the Jessica Hubert is the same as Jessica. I believe that's just either a name change or a maiden name, or so okay. I don't believe that we can ask her when she gets back on. I don't believe there's a standing issue.
Okay.
Regarding the attorney, I did see that there was an Ashley Sullivan listed. I believe that the board received an email from that attorney that says that she does not represent the appellant, and that she did not fill out that form.
Okay.
And that she therefore would not be appearing at the hearing. But we can also address that with the appellant when she gets back into the room.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Begelman, you do have an inspector present?
Yes, Inspector
Faulkner.
Faulkner.
Faulkner? Okay. All right, thank you.
While we're waiting, may I just ask, I thought that we had two matters left. Number 11, Joel Brito, BRITO, has that matter been resolved?
That's been marked moot.
I'm sorry, excuse me, this is the court reporter. I believe I am getting some background noise, and I apologize, Ms. Penn. I did not hear what you said.
Okay, I think Mr. Faulkner, if you would mute yourself for the moment, because I think the noise is coming from your area.
But Mr. Chairman, Mr. Faulkner, if that noise continues, you may have to find some other place in your office where there won't be any background noise if you're called upon to testify.
Okay, all right, thank you. I think that cleared it up. So it must have been Mrs. Faulkner's space, ambient noise. Okay, Ms. Penn, just for the record, would you repeat your question?
I'm sorry, Mr. Kelly. I was asking what the outcome was for case number 11, 4339 North 6th Street, and Mr. Wade confirmed that that matter had been marked moot.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Wade, I assume that the parties are in the breakout room?
Yes.
Okay.
I can join right now and see where they're at.
Yeah, get back to us, or we may need to go off the record just to take a break if it's going to take them a while. Okay, let us know.
Yep. A 10-minute recess, we can. She's just on a Mac and she's connecting. Worst case, she might have to connect through the phone.
Okay, so with that, we're going to take a.
Confirm that that was her maiden name or her married.
Okay, it's now 2:30. We'll take a comfort break until 2:40. Thank you. We have enough. We have a quorum, so let's get back on the record here.
Recalling to 10, hearing appeal ending 1656, 1621 West End Drive, Jessica Dries.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Dries. If you unmute yourself, I need to have you sworn. Do you hear us, ma'am? Okay, we don't hear her.
She muted her phone. That's
you unmute your phone, ma'am.
*6.
No, we don't hear you. Okay.
And is your actual phone muted? Make sure your phone is unmuted and you hit *6, ma'am.
She was just speaking.
Okay, this isn't working.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I know we've been here for a while. We'd like to get this done today, but to the extent we can't, will not object to a continuance and can discuss potential resolution of the appellant in the meantime. By not pushing for that, I know we want to.
Sure, understood.
Complete, but
understood.
If necessary.
Okay, Ms. Dries, we can't hear you, and if we can't.
Wait! I'm sorry. You should hear me now. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we do hear you now. Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry, board chair. Forgive me. I was looking at the speaker, not the actual microphone button. So I apologize.
Okay. All right. Mr. Wade, we've read this in. So we just need to get the party sworn, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Dries, if you would raise your right hand so that you may be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Faulkner, likewise, you raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today, Mr. Faulkner, to be the truth so help you God?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Place your hand. Okay, Mr. Begelman, you have one witness. Before we begin that, Ms. Dries, just for the record, we just need to clear up two things. The name on the property is different than Jessica Dries. Is that your maiden name, or what is the difference?
That's correct. I was still using my married name when I purchased the property and have since retaken my maiden name.
And your married name was?
Hubbard.
Hubert. Herbert or Hubert?
Hubbard.
Hubbard. Okay. And also listed in today's list is a Ashley Sullivan as your attorney. Is that no longer the case?
No. So I had consulted with Miss Sullivan. I am actually an employee of the city of Philadelphia and do have legal representation through my union benefit. So I did consult with Miss Sullivan through my whatever DC.
Right, but do you want to proceed?
She said she can't represent me in this matter because it's against the city, right? So like, the city can't represent and be against the city for the city. Like, this is the conflict of interest.
Okay, so what I'm asking you though is that
Ryan is nodding profusely.
Okay, ma'am, listen. Do you want to proceed without an attorney?
Yes, I do. Yes,
okay, I do. All right, thank you. Which department of the city do you work?
Department of Human Services, Child Welfare Office.
Okay, all right, thank you. Just wanted to make sure there weren't any other further conflicts. That's what I'm asking. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay, let's do this then. If you prepared to proceed without an attorney, Mr. Begelman, please begin.
Great, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have Inspector Sean Faulkner.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Faulkner.
Good afternoon.
Can you please state your name again for the record?
Sean Faulkner.
And where are you employed?
Licenses and inspections, 2401 Water Street.
How long have you been working for LNI?
12 years.
Great. If I may, Mr. Chairman, can I share my screen?
Yes, please.
One moment. Inspector Faulkner, are you familiar with the property located at 1621 West End Drive?
Yes, sir.
Great. I'm going to show you what I previously marked as Exhibit A. Can you identify this document for the record?
It's a site notice violation.
And what is the date of this site violation notice?
March the 8th, 2023.
And what property was the site violation notice issued to?
1621 Weston Drive, Philly, PA 19151.
Great. And did you inspect this property before issuing the site violation notice?
I did.
What date did you inspect this property?
I believe it was March the 7th.
Great. And what prompted you to inspect this property on that date?
There was a complaint issued for this address with beekeeping.
Okay. And when you, one second. When you inspected this property, what condition did you observe this property in?
The picture you have there on the screen that's turned quarter to the side was the front of the property with a lot of stuff going on in the front. It looked like debris, maybe rubbish. It looked like the ground was dug up. It looked like there was just a few different things going on in the front of the property.
Mr. Begelman, is it possible for you to rotate that image and to make it a little bigger?
I'm going to scroll down to my next exhibit, which has that picture blown up. So I'm going to show you what I previously marked as Exhibit B. Is this the image you were describing, Inspector Faulkner?
Yes, sir.
And this image at the bottom, what is this caption at the bottom?
It looks like doors, closet doors, maybe.
I'm sorry, the written caption, the picture.
The date is March the 7th, 2023. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the correct address on the photo stamp, but the correct address is on the property.
Right, it's the, you see 1621 on the front top of the door, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Great. And so can you again, for the record, describe what you observed and what you, what's in this image that you took on that date?
It's an abundance of things on the outside. As you see, there's a step stool out there. There's some closet doors out there. The ground was dug up some. I didn't want to walk too closely to the property to actually see what's going on near the front door. But it's like a lot of belongings just outside in front of the property.
And did you other items closer to the property itself in this front yard, in the back,
Yes.
in front of this window? What
Yes.
did you? I'm going to zoom in if this works. What did you see here back by the in front of the property itself?
Looks like maybe some shelving out there. Looks like a gazebo without the tarp with a roof on it. It looks like a fountain, wheelbarrow, a few different assortment of items.
Great. Did you get a chance to see the back of the property on this date?
I did.
Scroll down. Is this image depicting the back of 1621 West End Drive?
Yes.
And next door to 1619, correct? So that
Yes.
this what we're observing here with the deck is 1621.
Yes.
And what did you see here in this image?
Looks like a storage of doors.
Are
on
these
the
doors
exterior of the deck?
Are these doors connected to the property at all? Or
No,
are they just kind of leaning against it?
It looks like interior doors just leaning on the structure of the deck, on the
Does it
posts
look like
of
these
the
doors
deck.
does it look like these doors are in use at all, or are they just laying
It
against
looks like
the deck?
it looks like they're just leaning against the deck.
Are there anything else you see in this image? I'll try to zoom in a little bit more.
I'm not sure if that's a table leaning near the blue drum. It's a tarp covering something. That's all I can make out from the picture.
Great. I'm going to scroll back up to what was Exhibit A. So after inspecting this property, observing both the front and the back of the property, did you issue the site violation notice to the property owner?
I did.
What was the code section you observed in violation on this date?
Rubbish and garbage, PM 15-308.1.
I'm gonna zoom in again. Can you read for the record the code language listed on the site violation notice?
All exterior property and premises and the interior of every structure shall be free of any accumulation of rubbish or garbage.
So it's your opinion, as a inspector with license and inspections, that the accumulation of items you saw in the front of the property and the back constituted rubbish or garbage, correct?
Yes.
Great, thank you. And did you have you re-inspected this property recently?
Yes, I went back to the property yesterday.
Great. I'm going to scroll down to, I believe, what I had previously marked as Exhibit D. Is this an image that you took yesterday at the subject premises?
Yes, that's on the opposite side of the deck. They have an additional yard on the opposite side of the driveway.
This is part of the same subject premises, 1621 West End Drive?
Yes.
What do you see here in this image?
An abundance of an interior doors stacked up, and maybe a wagon, crate with some belongings in it, maybe bricks, maybe some type of shelving.
I'm going to keep scrolling. Is this the same? This is, again, the back of the property?
Yes.
As of yesterday?
Yes.
This tarp pile here, that's on 1619 West End Drive?
1619.
Correct?
Yes, that's 1619.
I'm going to keep scrolling. But this image here I'm showing you now, that's still part of 1621 in front of that back deck?
Yes.
And what do you see here?
Shelving with canned goods stored on it, various trash cans, 50-gallon drum, some doors on the side to the right, leaning.
Are these the doors that you're just referencing?
Yes.
Great. And are there additional doors underneath the deck?
Yes.
And it looks like on the side, laying horizontally, correct?
Yes.
Now, I'm going to go back up, if I may. This site violation notice, this was issued, and it just reflects the condition of the property on March 7th, 2023, correct?
Yes.
Great. I have no further questions for the inspector.
Okay. Ms. Dees, do you have any cross-examination Mr. Faulkner based on his testimony?
Well, yeah, I do. I mean, first of all,
Ms. Dries, first thing, you have to be seated, can't be moving, and one location, okay? So you can't
So I
walk
can't
around and
show
talk
you
to
the condition of the property?
You have to be seated in one location. You can't be moving. It creates problems when you're moving. Okay? Now, what I'm asking, do you have any cross-examination for him? You can ask him a question based on his testimony. And then if you want to present something when it's your turn, you can walk over to that space, but you can't be talking and walking at the same time. It creates too much confusion for us, okay?
Okay. So, I mean, I don't really have any cross-examination for him other than to say, you know,
it has to be a question.
It
has to be a question. If you don't have a question, that's okay. We'll let Mr. Begelman finish presenting his case, and then you can present your case. Okay?
Yep. Sounds good.
Okay. Any further questions for Mr. Faulkner?
I have a question, Mr. Chair.
No.
Yes, sir. Okay. Mr. Washington?
Just real quick. Mr. Faulkner, you testified that you was called out to the property due to bees?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So I guess someone in the neighborhood complained that there was a beehive or bees was.
Yes.
Did you find that?
I did not notice that at all.
No bees at all?
No.
And That's all my question, Mr. Chair, because I don't understand
Okay.
how this go.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, Mr. Begelman?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right, Ms. Dries, you wanted to present your side?
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's great that the initial complaint came March last year at the very beginning of spring when, yes, the beginning of the spring, the yard's going to look like that because it's a working garden. And if you look at it now, which I'd love to show you, it's gorgeous. And there's a beautiful rosemary, and there's bleeding heart, and there's a plethora of beautiful plants and flowers that are edibles, perennials, herbs. It is a working garden.
And
So
what
there are
about
gonna
all
be periods of
what about all the structures that were noted that are near the front door and other things, those things? Are they still there?
No, they have since been moved. I mean, yes, the bird bath is still there, and I did repurpose they were in fact shutters, and the shutters are across the front of where my patio area is, and it is essentially, you know, a barrier to having anybody really. The issue here is a neighbor, one in specific, that I have had repeated problems with. And yes, she did call about my bees, and I am a beekeeper. I do have an apiary, and she did call the state, and the state did come out, and they verified that, in fact, I'm doing absolutely nothing wrong. She got stung by a bee, and she called the police. Philadelphia Police Department came out, and they were like,
Okay,
"Ma'am,
wait,
what
but-
do you want us to do?"
Okay, Ms. Dries,
I'm
I
just,
no, no, but we
you
have
asked
to,
me if I could present my side.
yes, but I
of
want
the
you to keep
case.
it narrowly focused on the violation that you received. On the date of the violation
Okay,
that was written,
so-
wait, let me finish. On the date the violation
Okay.
was written, it's a site violation, which means that it's a point in time. And the issue is whether or not the violation that was written on that day adequately represented the conditions that the photographs seem to show.
Okay, so the other thing is I feel that was not a fair or appropriate is that you don't give any kind of warning or notice. There's no kind of like, hey, we received a complaint. We'd like you to take the opportunity to address this issue or concern. You just immediately come out and say, we got a complaint, so here you get a violation. Like, that doesn't seem fair or appropriate. And immediately following having Mr. Faulkner on site, I did address what it was that he observed. And I did move many of the items that were observed to be not appropriate to the space. Like, I understand that some people may not value agriculture and gardening, and they just want a lawn. That's all they want to see. And I get it. And so I am trying to be accommodating to my neighbors that really don't want to see anything other than a lawn. And I respect everybody's opinions. And I would also like to have, on some level, respect for my property to be utilized in the manner that I want to use it, which is to have gardening. And if you did notice the area in the back under the deck, I did hang the doors, like sliding barn doors, right? Like, so that is also functioning barrier, right? Like, so that I can have some protective space underneath the deck and utilize that area for construction. I do everything myself. I use reclaimed materials, and I created those front garden beds. There's 2 of them, and they are good, secure, firm structures. This is my 3rd season here at this house on this property. And from the time that I have arrived, there have been significant changes. And, you know, I'm making progress, but I am one person, and I am doing the best that I can with what I have to work with. And I think that it is not really fair or kind for one person to continually
Okay,
she's been making my life hell. Like it is.
Well,
just,
Ms. Dees, what have you taken a look at the code itself about what's permitted in terms of plant material and et cetera? Because essentially we're required to, our job here is to determine whether the.
I mean, I asked
have to
Mr.
finish,
Faulkner
ma'am.
to.
Ms. Dees, let me
I'm
finish.
sorry.
Let
You're
me
right.
finish.
You're right.
Our job here in response to your appeal is to determine if the Department of License and Inspections follow the code that's established to govern how residents use their properties. And so the code talks about the height of plant material. It doesn't say you can't have plants. It says how much you can have, and the size and the density of the plant material is regulated by code. It also determines whether or not the other things you have in your yard, on your front porch or your rear deck, if it's considered to be clutter and or junk by the code's definition. Even if there's only one person complaining, the inspector went, and the inspector did his job, wrote a violation. As the person who's appealing, you have to say to us, no, that didn't exist, or it isn't the way that he thinks it was. So that's what I'm saying to you. Is it correct that he saw what he saw, and did he write the right violation? If you haven't yet, I would also encourage you to take a look at the code and see what the code says, so that you can live in accordance with the code.
I did also request Mr. Faulkner at the time that he came out initially to provide me with the code that it is he's indicated I've
Oh, you can go do that
violated.
online. You
And
can go look at it online. He doesn't have to do that. You can go look it up yourself as a citizen. You have access to it. It's public information.
Okay.
The code is
Well, I
available
will.
on the City of Philadelphia website. If you go to the City of Philadelphia website, look at scroll down to the lower part, it says City Charter and City Code. It's available to anyone 24 hours a day, including those provisions that were cited by the inspector.
I have a question for
Yes.
Ms. Dees.
Yes. Well, I just want, before you do that, Mr. Watson, I just want to make sure Ms. Dees has finished her presentation. I don't want to cut her off. I want her to be able to make sure she shared with us everything that was happening on the date of the violation, because this is a site violation, which means that it's based on that individual date and time. Anything else, Ms. Dees, before we open it up to further questions?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, Mr. Washington, you had a question.
Yes, because I'm real curious. When we decide this issue, are we talking about the front of the house or the back of the house? Because when I look at what was submitted, that's the front of the house. But when we just started doing testimony, we did testimony about the back of the house, and nothing was offered to us concerning the pictures that was submitted to us about the front. So that's why I'm just curious, which one are we discussing here?
If I may, Mr. Washington, it's both the front and the back of the premises. I don't believe, but Inspector Faulkner can verify that multiple images can be included on the site violation notice. I did share on my screen the initial image of the front of the property, as well as the back of the property, and the images from
the other paper.
Yesterday are, I guess I just shared the back of the property, but again, the images from today, or from yesterday rather, are not totally relevant to this issue. Inspector Faulkner did do a courtesy check and check on the current condition of the property that I wanted to share, but the issue itself is what the condition of the property on March 7th, 2023, both the front and the back of the premises.
Okay, then I have one final question. Then he was sent there to check on a complaint from the neighbors concerning bees, and she just admitted that she's a beekeeper, but he also admitted he didn't even notice anything about that. Is there a reason why?
At time of inspection, at the front of the property or at the rear of the property, I didn't see any bees, beehives, no indication that there was bees anywhere. From the pictures that was submitted from the rear of the property, it's covered under the deck. So I don't know where she's keeping the bees at. beekeeping is out of L&I jurisdiction as well. So
Okay,
I did an
thank-
inspection to see, we get the service request come in, I have to go out regardless to see the validity of the service request. So when I went out, I didn't see any bees. I started at the front of the property, took pictures, went to the rear of the property, took pictures where I did not see any bees. I just saw an abundance of belongings.
All right, this is a question for you now. You educate me on something. The beekeeping is out of the jurisdiction of L&I, but if you get a complaint from a citizen, the inspection falls under L&I. Understand? You educating me now.
Yes, as far as I talked to my supervisors, they said I'm still supposed to go out and see what I can see. We have to answer the complaint regardless of the validity of it.
So your response to the complaining citizens would have been, we didn't see any evidence of any beekeeping.
Yes, and in the violation I wrote, at time of inspection, L&I does have any jurisdiction over beekeeping. But,
okay.
But
okay, because I got a couple of beekeepers around.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not our jurisdiction.
No more questions, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Any other questions of Ms. Dries from anyone?
I have an additional question for Inspector Faulkner, if that's all
Yes.
right.
Well, let's do this, Mr. Begelman, just so we keep the order flowing properly. Ms. Dries, do you have anything else that you want to offer before we allow Mr. Begelman to redirect?
Well, yeah, I mean, I have confusion over this whole matter because I have this one notice of today's board appeal for this HA 001656, and then I have a Revenue Collection Bureau notice that I have an unpaid fine, and I don't understand how I have an unpaid fine if it's under appeal.
Well, the fine itself is from a site violation is a fine that's not appealable. So once you got the violation notice, it's a fine that you have to pay. So appealing to the Board of L&I Review is not appealing the violation fine itself. It's only determining whether the violation was properly written. But you believe that you appeal the fine itself to the Board of Mr. McSherry. Would you help us out here in terms of the
Review Board?
The Tax Review Board. My apologies. The fine itself is appealable to the Tax Review Board.
You say that correctly, Chairperson Wisdom. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. That's to clarify that confusion.
And it would have had to have been timely filed probably as well. It's a separate issue.
Okay,
That's
you
correct.
understand my confusion though, not knowing that, right? Like there was no indication to me that having received the fine was separate from a violation. Like I assumed that my appealing the violation notice was appealing the fine attached to the violation.
Okay.
So now
unfortunately, a site violation is different, but you have to read the letter itself and documents very closely. And also, did you speak with Mr. Faulkner or anyone else in L&I about any confusion you had?
No, I did not speak with Mr. Faulkner further beyond the day that he appeared in front of me at my home and was addressing me very shortly and very curtly as to what it was he felt was not appropriate about my residence, even though I tried to explain to him that the condition at the beginning of March is going to be far different than what he would experience come the middle of April or May. I mean, it is the beginning of the season. It's not, the time of year when you're going to see the bountiful, beautiful garden that it is. It's coming out of winter.
Okay.
Chairman, if I may, I have a question for Ms. Dries.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Dries, we were shown some photographs of the front of your house at the time that the site violation notice was written. Can you explain why you had shutters, some loose doors, a step stool and some other things in what looked like, from the photograph, it looks like there's a large ditch or gully in the front of your yard, and in that gully are shutters, doors, and a step stool. What was the purpose of having those things in the front of that ditch, and what was the purpose of the ditch?
So if you would allow me to show you my garden right now,
No, I don't
which
want
I'd
to
be
see your
happy.
garden now. No, Ms. Dries, I asked you a very specific question. What was the purpose
There's
of
a
the ditch? Why were those doors and those other items in that ditch at the time the photo was taken?
Those are materials that I use to repurpose to create some of the garden beds that I build to house the plants and the other herbs, vegetables. Currently, there's a berry bed, and then there's the herb bed. There's two different specific garden beds that are built out of repurposed materials. And those are the materials that I use to build them.
Okay.
Are those one more question, Mr. Chairman, if I might. Are those
Yes, please.
doors used for the creation of raised beds?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And do you know? Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Anything else? And I'd like to hear for final argument. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Begelman, do you have redirect with Mr.
Just
Faulkner?
Very quickly, Mr. Chairman. Inspector Faulkner, when you are assigned inspection based on a complaint, is your review of that property limited to just the nature of the complaint, or can you write a violation based on what you observe at the property at that day?
I can write a violation based on what I see at time of inspection.
Great. And this site violation notice you issued on March 7th, 2023, was that for both the state of the property at both the front and the back of the premises?
Yes, sir.
And in the front of the premises, we saw a bunch of gardening materials, but as you testified, there's also a bunch of items at the back of the garden right in front of the house, right?
Yes.
Did those look related to a garden at all, or did that look like rubbish or debris?
In my eyes, it looked like rubbish and debris, but I don't have a green thumb, so I can't. But to me, an abundance looks like an abundance of doors, like a storage of materials.
And when rubbish or debris or materials like that are piled up or left out, are there any risks or dangers to neighbors or anyone else associated with that kind of accumulation?
Well, of course, kids could come by, decide they want to play in it and knock stuff down on each other, possibly. I don't know what's going on. I'm not allowed to actually enter the premises I can only look at what I can see. So I wasn't able to go under the deck to see what's going on, what the belongings are, encased in the tarp. That's not my jurisdiction. I can't do that. But anything could happen to anybody walking past if they want to do anything facetious. It just looked like an abundance of belongings outside that shouldn't be there.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Okay. What I'd like to do is to hear any final argument that Ms. Dries would have or Mr. Begelman. Then we're going to take a short executive session before we vote.
Before we do that, Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman, could I ask Mr. Begelman to put up the two photographs that were shown to us, please?
Sure. Okay.
Yes. One moment. This was the front of the property. I'll zoom out from March 7th, 2023. And this was the back of the premises on March 7th, 2023.
Could you go back to the front picture one more second, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Dries, anything you want to, as a final argument, you want to share with us before Mr. Begelman does likewise and we take executive session?
I want to know, is it possible for someone to be cited for the same thing twice? Like, can you guys just keep coming out and keep harassing me and keep continuing to,
Mr. Reeves, we've asked you not to move around while you're testifying. We it creates a lot of disorientation on our side.
I need to plug my computer in. Otherwise you're going to lose me completely.
Okay, well, just
so I
let
just
us know
wanted
that.
to not lose you.
Yeah, but
okay, I'm moving toward my power source.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
In response to your question, if there is a lack of compliance, yes, you can be fined and written up in the future. That's possible.
And what you're saying is that there's no appealing this delinquent fine currently because it was issued.
No.
There is no appealing a fine.
Did not say that. I said to you that this is not the appropriate venue to appeal that. And the other comment that was made by my colleague, Mr. Pincus, is that there's a appeal period that's probably noted on the violation. And so you have to appeal to the appropriate place and within the time period noted on the violation notice. The board, Mr. McSherry, repeat the venue for the fine itself.
It would be before the tax review board in terms of a dispute as to the actual amount of the fine, but in terms of the actual whether or not the violation itself was properly assessed is what this board is currently hearing at the moment.
And if I may, Mr. Chairman, I might be able to clear up some confusion on this front. Mr. Trees, if you can email me the document received, I can take a closer look. To the extent that it is my understanding, to the extent that the board agrees with your appeal today, there will not be a fine owed to the city for the site violation notice because you did timely appeal. That invoice might have been generated. Whoever issued the L&I might not have received your appeal before issuing that notice. So there might just be a timeline issue here, but send me the document you received and we can go from there.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Begelman, for that clarity.
Okay. All righty. So, Mr. Dries, if you have any final argument you'd like to make, after which we'll hear from Mr. Begelman before we take executive session to review the matter.
No further argument.
Okay. Mr. Begelman?
Nothing further from me either, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. I invite my colleagues to join me in executive session for a few moments. It's now 3:18. We will return by about 3:25. Okay, thank you everyone for your patience. We're now prepared to call the vote on HA-2023-001 656 1621 West End Drive. Jessica Dries, please join me as we vote. City affirm. Mr. Pink.
I'm sorry, I was muted. City affirm.
City affirm.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
Thank you very much. Mr. Dries, the unanimous vote is city affirmed, which means you lost your appeal. However, you may appeal our decision. If you choose to do that, you can call the office on the communications you received. They will give you information as to how to appeal the decision of the board. Understood?
Understood.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon. Mr. Begelman, anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Faulkner, you excuse.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great
have
day.
a good afternoon. Okay. Mr. Wade, anything else?
That was our last matter.
Okay, thank you, everyone. That concludes today's hearing. And we thank you for your participation and your patience as we work through these cases. Have a good afternoon.